Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the Bully Dog Performance BDX tuner fitting 2014 to 2022 6.2-liter gas-powered F-250 Super Duties. Bully Dog's BDX is a great way to get more power out of your F-250 for a really good price. It comes with a preloaded tune, and it has the ability to support custom tunes that you can download via Wi-Fi, plus some other adjustability and data logging built in. So if you want to make the most out of your truck without spending a fortune, this is going to be a great choice for your build. Diving right in on numbers here. Now, we tested our 2018 F-250 behind me on our in-house dyno to see what we'd get. In stock form, the truck put down 301 horsepower at 5,600 RPM and 337 pound-feet of torque at 3,800 RPM. By comparison, after the tune, the F-250 made 305 horsepower at 5,300 RPM and 338 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM, giving us peak gains of 4 horsepower and just 1 singular pound-foot of torque. However, those numbers do not tell the whole story. Now, this is not a tune or a vehicle that's really going to be all about peak gains. Where we saw the big improvements were down low in the rev range. So if you look at the dyno chart here, especially between 2,000 and 3,500 RPM, the curves were a bit more linear and we saw more power. So our best under the curve numbers we saw here were 63 pound-feet of torque and 31 horsepower, coming in around that 2,500 RPM mark. Now, this is great for this application since it's going to give you that stout pulling power down low, which makes this ideal for a truck that's going to haul or tow a lot, because these trucks are going to live most of their life down low in the rev range. Now, you do get a slight dip there in the mid-range, but it pulls strong down low and also up high. You can see the curve goes back up above where it was stock, and that dip is so slight you're likely not even going to notice it. Again, you do get a bit more higher up in the rev range as well, so it makes this a pretty well-balanced tune, especially for something that's coming right out of the box with no other input except for what you've got right here. Now, the BDX again comes with a tune preloaded on it, like I was just saying. So outside of maybe updating the unit software, which is done easily using the provided cable or the Wi-Fi included, this is pretty much ready to go out of the box. Now, you've got that single tune on there already, and this one also has the big benefit of supporting custom tunes as well. So if you continue to make upgrades later on down the line, or if you want to change things up a little bit, you've got the ability to get more tunes written to accommodate those modifications. And as I mentioned already, this also has built-in Wi-Fi, so you can receive those custom tunes over the air and updates over the air as well, which makes this one of only a few in the market with this capability. Now, while this doesn't go as deep as a programmer might go in changing different parameters within the truck, this does give you the ability to change or remove your stock speed limiter and adjust your engine idle speed, both of which can be helpful if you're on the job site or if you need some additional 12-volt power, or you just want to get your truck to warm up a bit faster on those cold mornings. Though more adjustments may be available depending on the year of your truck, our 18 only had those available. So your results may vary there, but you'll see everything when you load the tuner up, and we'll show you where that is when we get into the install portion of the video. Now, if you do happen to get a check engine light for something else, this also has the ability to read and clear diagnostic trouble codes. So you can take care of that without having to take a trip to the auto parts store or the dealer. But there is still more to come. This unit can also show you live vehicle data. So should you want to display it on your dashboard, there is a separate mount that you can purchase. We do have that available on our site. This allows you to monitor a bunch of different parameters, pulling all the information right out of the ECU. Things like intake air temperature, RPM, and many, many more. I can't even remember them all off the top of my head, but we'll show you those again when we get into the truck. And you can swap out different readouts too, depending on what it is that you want to see. If there's only a few things you want to see, it'll display it nice and big, or you can monitor a bunch of different things. Now, in that same menu, this also supports data logging, so you can save data from your drives or from dyno runs, which can be really helpful for your tuner if you want to take advantage of that custom tune option later on down the road. Now, while this isn't a traditional part where construction is really going to come into play in how it works, it's worth talking about here. And this one is one of my favorites because it is a really compact unit. It features a full color display, and you can display it in either portrait or landscape modes. And you've got hard buttons here. That 5-button interface makes navigation really easy, and it's easy to learn. Again, I'm a big fan of any kind of physical buttons here because it makes it just super easy to function, especially on something small like this. It also comes with a USB cable, so you can connect this to a computer for updates, and you've got the OBD2 cable included as well, so it's going to plug right into your truck, no other cords necessary, so it makes it a pretty easy setup. Pricing for this one comes in at about $475, which for all you get here, especially the ability to data log, is a really good price. Truly, this is all you need in a tuner. And while you could spend more to get a bigger monitor, I really don't find that necessary in most applications. This one gives you plenty of flexibility, it gives you some more power, again, that better torque curve as well, and all the other goodies you can want. It's really an everything you need and nothing you don't kind of situation. We're gonna give installation on this a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter. It should only take you about 30 minutes to get it plugged in and get everything set and ready to go. Now you will want to take a few minutes to update this again before you get it plugged into your truck, but once you get it loaded up, it's gonna go pretty fast. You'll probably spend more time just messing around with different parameters and displays and getting it to look the way that you want if you're gonna mount it up on your dashboard. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into the truck. We'll show you how to get this installed. All right, everyone, now we're gonna be showing you how to install the BullyDog BDX on our 2018 F250 here. We really only need two things for this, the tuner and the OBD2 cable, which we've got here. So let's hop on in and show you what to do. All right, now we're inside the truck. We're gonna take our OBD2 cable and we're gonna plug this in right underneath the dash. Now the cable is gonna face up for this. It is a little tight on this truck in particular, so if you do happen to have a 2018 F250, just know it's gonna be a little tight. So I just fold the cable over a little bit, plug it in here. Now there are 2 bolts right here on the OBD2 port. If you wanna lower that down a little bit to make some extra clearance, you can. Again, you really don't have to. It just takes a little finagling and get it seated in there nice and tight. Next, we're gonna plug in the other end of the cable into the top of our unit here. So this is basically an HDMI cable. This can only go one way. So we're just gonna plug that in there and the unit should power up. Just like that. That'll bring us to the main menu, so I'll show you how to get through this and how to program the tune onto the truck. All right, now that we're in, you can also do an update on this using the provided USB cable. Just plug it into the computer, and BullyDog offers you free software that you can download from their website. A couple other things you can do in here. If you want to sync files through the cloud, you can do that as well. You can update some stuff here as well, and you can also change the display orientation if you want to put this in landscape format. We're going to leave it in portrait since it's easier to see. You can also change the colors. Now you might have noticed when we fired this up the first time, the background was black on here. I did change it to the light red just so we have better contrast so you guys could see it on camera better. So clicking over to the right or left here will bring us down and select exit, and that'll bring us back to the main menu. Now the next thing we want to do is go up to vehicle info. You can select that here. It's going to ask you to turn the key on and not start the truck, which is exactly what I've done already. So we'll hit continue. And this is going to bring up some information about the truck itself. So it'll show you the VIN, it'll show you the ECM strategy, and some other information here too. Most of this won't be necessary unless you have to troubleshoot with BullyDog, but we want to confirm that the VIN is correct. So I know that this is the correct VIN for our truck, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to select exit, go back to the main menu. Now we get to the fun stuff. So we can scroll back up to program vehicle now that we know that our device is updated and our truck information is correct. So we'll select program vehicle. It's gonna give you a street use notice on here. We're gonna hit continue. It's gonna ask us again to turn the key on. Now, it's important before we start this process that you've got this on, the truck is not running, and make sure once we start this, you follow the prompts to the letter, don't change anything. It's also important to make sure that your battery is healthy and has plenty of voltage. Now I've got ours plugged in on a battery tender since we've been messing around with this truck for a while, so we know we're not gonna lose any voltage. So once you're sure of all that stuff, you're gonna hit continue. Now this may ask you to update here as well. Ours again is already done, so this should just take us right to the menu with our tunes. So this is gonna bring you to the tune menu. Now you'll see a couple of different things here. First and foremost, if you plug this in right out of the box like we have here, you're gonna see one preloaded tune here, the 6.2 liter Super Duty one. This is obviously the one that we're gonna use. If you have any custom tunes loaded up, they're gonna show up here as well. And once we've got a tune loaded onto the truck, our stock one will show up here too, but we'll show you that afterwards. So for now, we're gonna go ahead and select 6.2 liter Super Duty, and it brings us to another menu. There's a couple of things that we can change before we get started. So the first one is fuel octane. That's very important. So if you select that, you can choose 87, 91, or 93. Now all of our trucks here run 93 octane, so I'm gonna select that. You pick whichever one you're running in your truck or whatever is available closest to you. You can also change your speed limiter. Ours is already off, so we're gonna leave it there. And you can also change your idle speed in neutral. Ours is set at 600, so that's your warm idle speed. We're gonna leave that alone as well. Once you're satisfied with those things, you can press over to the right It'll highlight approve, we'll select that, and now we get to programming the truck. So again, it's important here, don't touch anything, just leave it be. This is gonna go through a couple of cycles. Your dashboard may flicker or turn off, you might hear some modules clicking. All of that is very normal, so just let it go and have some patience here. This is also the part where it's gonna save your stock tune too. So again, it's very important that you don't touch anything, that your battery is healthy so you've got enough power to complete this. Now we've gotten to the point where the module is building the tune using those options that we selected earlier, such as the fuel octane rating. So this is gonna be added, it's gonna change things around as it needs to, and then it's gonna start getting it loaded onto the truck. You see our dashboard just clicked off. This prepares to write the tune to the truck. Right now, everything has come back on, and this is going to go through and clear any diagnostic trouble codes. So if you happen to get a check engine light or anything like that, this will go ahead and automatically clear it. Again, you'll hear a bunch of things clicking and going on in the background here. All right, now it's asking us to turn the key off, and hit continue, and our programming is done. Super easy. So we'll hit done. I'm gonna turn the key back on. All right. Now all the binging and bonging is done, we are back here to the main menu, so I want to show you a couple of other things. Scrolling down to the next one, you have the gauges and data log section. So like we were talking about earlier in the video, this is the section where you can see a bunch of different parameters. You can use this to monitor things. Again, you can log it, or you can just watch it as you drive down the road. Obviously, keep your eyes on the road, but if you want to monitor anything as you're driving, you can do that here. So it'll prompt you to, again, turn the key to the on position without starting the truck. You can configure it, or you can go right into it. We're gonna go right into it so we can show you what it looks like. It's gonna ask you to select your vehicle. So we're gonna scroll down until we see Ford Gas 08 or newer. So that's gonna be ours. We're gonna select this, scroll over and hit continue. And that brings us right here to this screen. So this is the default screen. Now obviously this truck does not have a blower or a turbo on it, so boost and PSI we can change. And this has our control module voltage too, so you see we're showing this 12.75 volts. You can highlight either of these. We're gonna change this boost one out. I'll bring you to this menu, and you can go through all kinds of different stuff, such as intake air temperature sensor, both of your Lambda or O2 sensors, fuel line pressure, fuel trim, air fuel mixture. Again, you can play around with this and figure out exactly which ones you want. We're gonna go back up and we're gonna hit intake air temp. So then we'll scroll over, hit approve, bring us here. Now if you wanna go back, this will bring you to another menu where you can either stop or start the data log. Hitting stop will bring you back to the main menu. You can view ones, you can select them. You can also change your gauge layout from here too. So if you select that, you see it gives you the options for a bunch of different things, up to 8 different readouts on the screen. You can also choose from a landscape layout if you want to do that orientation. So I'll show you what that looks like. Again, you can go through and select each of these and change them out if you want to do that. And if you want to start recording, you can just hit that center button right there. The little record icon will come up. You can hit stop and it'll stop recording. Going back, we'll have a stop the data log. If you want to reset anything, you can do that here too. We're gonna hit stop and this will bring us again back to the main menu. Going down to vehicle functions, you've got a couple of other things you can change in here as well. This is where you can read and clear any diagnostic trouble codes. So if you want to read that, ours actually is showing up with one. Because I've got fuses pulled for the ABS system so that we can run this safely on the dyno, but it does cause the truck to freak out. But if you wanted to clear them, you can do that right here as well. And then down in special functions, you've got a couple of other things that you can access as well. So this is where you can change your tire size and axle ratio. So if you've upsized your wheels and tires, if you've changed your axle ratio in the rear end, you can change these here. Despite running aftermarket wheels and tires, these are actually the same size as our stock ones. So we can skip that. And we know that our axle ratio is 373, so we can skip that as well. You can also change or reset your tire pressure monitoring system here. So if you want to change the level at which the alert goes off, you can do that here as well. It'll tell you your stock and what your current one is set to. Ours are all set there. Again, we're running stock tire size, so we're going to leave those alone. You also have the crank relearn and the KAM reset. That is your keep alive memory. So basically that is all the modules are pulling some power all the time. If you want to reset them basically back to factory settings, you can do that right here. Again, we're not going to do that. We're going to leave our truck alone. Going to exit brings us back to our main menu, and that's basically the end of it. Again, if you want to go down to device settings, you can change the color and different things in here as well. One more thing that's very important is if you want to set your truck back to stock. Going back up to program vehicle, this will take you through to the same screen. And it'll show you your tunes that are available after it scans through things. And right there, you'll see stock programming. So you can set your truck back to stock right from here. So again, it'll be the same process as it was to load the actual tune on here. That's gonna wrap it up here for our review, install, and dyno test of the Bully Dog BDX tuner fitting 2014 to 2022 6.2 liter F-250 Super Duties. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things F-250, be sure to keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.